Nielsen is also warning that border crossings have reached their highest level in more than a decade. Joining me right now is Fox News senior strategic analyst, retired four-star General Jack Keane. General, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thanks for being here.
Good morning, Maria.
Pretty scary commentary from Kirstjen Nielsen there. Let's start with the cyber threat. Some of the banks, I'm told, get 200 to 300,000 attempts to break into their system a day.
Yeah, there's absolutely no exaggeration about that. I was a director at a defense contractor, and they had close to 1 billion attempted penetrations per month. It's absolutely staggering how prolific the Chinese are, who are the #1 penetrators of our cyberspace. It's comprehensive. They have literally hundreds of thousands of cyber hackers who are working every single day to get into our systems. They are the #1 stealers of data in the world. Nobody even comes close to what they're attempting to do every single day.
And you know, the president knows this. The president has been pushing back on China for a number of months now, and for a number of reasons. Because it's not just the forced transfer of technology, not just the IP theft, not just espionage, but it's also this constant attempt to get into our systems, right? And they don't admit it.
No, absolutely not. Here's some of the problems we have. Number one, our defenses obviously aren't as good as they should be, and there's attempts here clearly to make them considerably better. It's much better. It's much bigger problem than just having firewalls. You have to be able to see what's coming and do something about it. The second thing is, we don't use our offensive cyber to the degree I think we should, because that could help build a deterrence. What am I talking about? Well, we have ways of determining who is attacking us, and when we know that, we should use cyber, our offensive cyber. We're #1 in the world at this, Maria, and attack back,
right,
and disrupt and destroy that source. If we impose that cost on the deliverer of the attack, before they conducted that attack, they would have to consider the impact of that cost, because we're going to return that offensive capability to them. And this administration has taken steps to loosen up the rules and regulations to use offensive cyber so that it can be delegated down to lower levels, and it doesn't have to come to a president in this very special finding to do it, because these are things that have to be done, obviously, Maria, at network speed. We have to be able to react quickly, and it's not something that takes presidential approval in a matter of days or weeks. So that's a good thing, and I'm hoping that we clearly get more aggressive in the use of our offensive capability.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that she's raising this issue, speaking publicly about it, tells you that maybe we are, in fact. Let me switch gears, General, and ask you about the Mideast, the Syrian troop withdrawal. Just months after the president announced that U.S. troops in Syria will be coming home, the U.S. is now planning to keep 1,000 troops in the country. That's more than the 200 soldiers the administration was originally going to leave in the area. So now we're up to 1,000 troops in Syria. Your reaction?
Well, Chairman Dunford, the chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff, said that the 1,000 is likely not an accurate number, but it's larger than the initial 400 that the administration said. Here's the reason why. There are 3 missions that we're assigning our troops. We are and have been assisting the 60,000 Syrian Democratic Forces. That is what the 2,200 U.S. troops and British troops and French troops are doing currently right now. That's being obviously reduced something under 1,000. Mission 1 will be to establish a safe zone between Turkey and Syria to protect the Syrian Kurds. Mission 2 will be to counter ISIS so they do not reemerge after we've taken all the territory away from them. And Mission 3 is to operate a base in southern Syria called Al-Tanif, which will block the Iranians' desire to have a land bridge in southern Syria. Those are the 3 missions. But it's the first mission that's a challenge, because the Brits and the French who are already there, Maria, they don't want to participate in the safe zone. So we have to either increase our numbers or find someone else to do that. The Brits and French want to continue doing what they're doing, and that is keep their foot on the throat of ISIS. They don't want to be involved in a peace enforcement mission between Turkey and the Syrian Kurds. So that is the issue that the Pentagon's facing.
And at the end of the day, you know, there's still ISIS and the potential for them to regroup, and we fight Iran. General, you just mentioned, before we go, you just mentioned General Dunford, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And I just want to point out that the other day, during a Senate hearing, he said, and this was in response to a question about Google, because we know that Google decided to walk away from a contract with the Pentagon because its employees protested. They didn't want Google to be in business with the U.S. government. I don't even want to go there, but that's what they said. And you know what General Dunford, Chairman Dunford said the other day in a Senate hearing was that while Google is working in China, it is actually indirectly helping the Chinese military. So here you have one of the smartest, top technology companies of our time, an American company that is able to do everything that it wants to do because of the freedoms and democracy of this great country, America. They walk away from the Pentagon, they work in China, and they end up indirectly helping the Chinese military?
Yeah,
do they not understand the issues of the day? Yeah,
it is a stunning revelation. And listen, they have a right to compete or not compete for defense contracts. What they pulled away from was the Pentagon's desire to have a very sophisticated, comprehensive cloud operation. The second thing was doing some imaging of drone videos. So they pulled away from it. But here's what they said. The reason why we don't want to work on a contract with the Pentagon is because it's not in line with our values. They're corporate values, but it's America's values defended by the United States military that allows that organization to thrive and prosper. I mean, that is incredible and somewhat outrageous.
It's incredible. Can you imagine if American companies decided back in 1939 to say, we're not going to work with the U.S. government because we want to get a foothold in Imperial Japan? Give me a break. General, it's great to see you this morning. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good talking to you, Maria.